No Six Nations this weekend, of course, but we are hoping for a great occasion, a few rungs down the rugby ladder. We're at Clifton Lane and we have for you a top-of-the-table championship encounter. What a season this is turning out to be for Rotherham. Unfancied and underprepared at the start, they have led the way for large chunks of this campaign, and they have a chance today to go back to the top of the table. The joke for much of the season has been about escaping relegation, but a win today, and surely it's going up rather than down, which will focus the minds. Confidence no problem after 3 home wins on the trot over Bristol. Bristol themselves have tinkered under the bonnet a fair amount in the first half of this campaign, but 6 wins on the bounce, including 4 on the road, shows that they are beginning to motor as Andy Robinson would want. Victory today against one of their playoff rivals, and they're in full control of their own destiny. So for the first time we bring the Sky cameras to Clifton Lane for this round 17 matchup from the Green King IPA Championship. It's first against third coming into the weekend. Bristol the visitors to take on Rotherham Titans, and kick-off is at 4:45. Now the table this morning confirms where these two are in the standings. Leeds in the middle, Welsh in 4th, London Scottish clinging on to that playoff race. Then there's a big gap to the Pirates in 6th. Albion actually went above Moseley into 7th with a win last night. Jersey holding off Ealing Trailfinders at the foot. And I'm afraid the story not getting any better for Ealing this afternoon. They are down heavily at home to London Welsh, who've already got the try bonus point in the bag. Pete Brown, Nathan Vella, Seb Stegman and Nick Scott have all gone over for London Welsh. Moseley lead Bedford 24-13. Will Owens and Matt Williams for the home side there. Our game for you, as we said, at 4:45 this afternoon. Tomorrow it's Cornish Pirates against Jersey, and at Headingley, London Scottish travel to take on Leeds Carnegie. But a very good afternoon to you, as we said, and a very warm welcome to the Clifton Lane Clubhouse as well. It's a bit of a David against Goliath scenario here this afternoon. I think it's fair to say that Rotherham have been hitting above their weight a little bit throughout the course of the campaign. Bristol, though, obviously with all the tools in their army. We'll have a quick word with some of the supporters we wander through. You're obviously a Rotherham fan, sir. Right, yeah. Today, full of confidence with the league leaders coming to town?
I think it's just a case of we do our best, and I think we could take them if we wanted to.
And if you do win today, do you start to dream of promotion, or is there just a little bit too much reality around these parts?
I think it's a case of we sort of take stock, see what happens, and if we can do it, we'll go for it. Believe me, we'll go for it.
You do like to keep your feet on the ground around here, don't you? Do enjoy the game this afternoon. Thank you very much indeed. And obviously Bristol, as we said, in pretty good form right now as well. Just the one loss for them since December, and a lot of their supporters have made it out here this afternoon. Quick word with you this afternoon. Rotherham going well. Do you travel here full of confidence, or just 1 or 2 nerves, given how well the home side have been going?
I think there's always a few nerves sort of before every game, especially they have been having a really good season. But I think if we just keep ourselves steady and play with the confidence we've shown over the last few games, we can definitely have a good game and do it today.
Good stuff. Key man for you this afternoon?
I think young Jack Tovey, if he comes off the bench, could make the difference.
Turning to the bench early, I like it. Thank you very much indeed. Enjoy the afternoon to you as well. Very interesting views there from some of the supporters, but we'll get the view from our guests as well. And we did mention the old David and Goliath analogy. It's a similar situation, I'm afraid, in studio this afternoon, isn't it, Mike Friday? Good afternoon to you. London Scottish assistant coach, of course. We've got Pat Sanderson along too. I can get rid of that now, actually. But first things first, let's deal with the home side. And it's very refreshing. There's quite a lot of the old school about what they're doing here, and they're very, very proud of it as well. But how has that translated for you into success on the field this season?
Yeah, I think you've got to look at Rotherham over a number of years, really. They've always had a big physical pack of forwards. They've always, I guess, always met that physical challenge. And I think that a new coach, a new influence this year, but they haven't gone away from that. They've maintained and they've built on that. And I think that's really the key to success now. They've got plenty of ambition, plenty of width to their game, which I think is right. And they needed to, but they've still got the likes of Big Alfie, Itualala in the back row, who's going to stand toe to toe with anybody. You couple that now with the new adventure, and it's a very potent mix, and they're deservedly where they are in the league right now.
You were up here was it last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously you were playing in something of a paddy field that day because of the rain. But that result aside, what have you made? Pat mentions the ambition in their game. What have you made of the rugby that they are playing this season?
They're playing a very varied game, but I think it's underpinned by the spirit and the essence that Lee Blackett has instilled in his squad. They are very down to earth. And it's a proper rugby club, proper values, and you live and die by those to start with. I think in terms of the ambition, Lee's got loads of quotes, as we know, but Lee talks about having the ambition and empowering the players to make decisions. He won't ever pull them up for making a bad decision, but he will not compromise poor basics. Yeah. And that's kind of how he's built his coaching and he takes his philosophy forward, and it's credit to him and the consistency he gives in message to his players to allow them the freedom and the confidence to play without compromising the values.
We did mention the difference between these two clubs, perhaps typified by the coaches themselves. Lee Blackett, by his own admission, almost the last man standing when he was given the head coach's role here at Rotherham. Andy Robinson, a World Cup winner, of course. Let's hear from the two head men, and they've been talking to Bill Latham.
Lee, just how confident are you when you're at home?
Look, it's a big thing for us. If you just look at the recent history of the last 10 years, we always seem to do well here. I think the big thing is supporters. I think if you also look at other teams coming here, I know personally from playing at Leeds, every Leeds player hated coming here. I loved it because it's where I started, but it seems that players don't seem to like it. Small dressing rooms, hostile crowd, and look, it's great for us as a home team.
You're back up to the top of the table. Has that eased the pressure a little?
Well, look, there's pressure on every single game that we play, and we want to crank that up. Rugby's a pressure game, and you've got to get the go forward, and you've got to be able to control the pace of the game. And this is our next challenge for us, and we're looking forward to playing against a very good Rotherham side. So, my first time here, looking forward to feeling the crowd and the atmosphere that's going to be generated. So it should be good fun.
Is there a mental block right now when it comes to playing the other top 4 teams?
No, I think we've obviously played 4 games. And you can out. But having said that, there was 2 games we felt hurdle for us.
We've been slightly disappointed with the amount of we've been conceding, and we want a better defensive performance, technically, with our line speed being very strong today. So we're looking for that. But also, our discipline. When you play away from home, it's vital that you've got really good discipline. And whilst we've not been conceding yellow cards, we've sort of conceded a few cheap penalties recently. So vital that we get our discipline right. And when we get our chances, we've got to be able to take them. It's got some cracking attacking players, but we've left a lot of points out on the field in quite a few games this year, and when we get the chances in games like this, you've got to be able to take them.
They certainly have had the chances throughout the course of the season. 10 more tries than anyone else in this league. But we mentioned at the start that he's done a fair amount of experimentation, certainly in the first half of the campaign, has Andy Robinson. Are you a fan of the trial and error system that he seems to have put in place, certainly early on?
I think what you see very visibly is the 7-point gamble. They go for they're not kicking the points, they're going for the corner. But the big gamble, I guess the big roll of the dice is that they brought Sean Holley in from the Ospreys as the defence coach, as well as as the general coach, and his big trademark is an up and in defence as opposed to an up and out defence. And I think that embedding that mid-season is a difficult thing to do. That's the big risk. And we saw it at the start of the season. In fact, the last time we saw them play on Sky against Leeds, they scored 4 tries and lost the game. It was all about defence.
Yeah.
And I think since then they've really started to drill it down. The players are starting to make better decisions in those wider channels. But Mike did this when he was at London Welsh. He understands how hard it is to embed this system mid-season, and I think that's the big gamble. But the trajectory is good. I think they're getting it right. I don't know what you think, Mike.
Yeah. What are they doing well at the moment for you?
Yeah, I mean, they are, and it is difficult because it's about your outside defenders making good decisions and recognising the pictures they see in front, and that's trial and error. He's got young guys out there, and it's a confidence thing. And once you get that confidence and that communication comes, then all of a sudden the shape comes, and when the shape and the line speed comes, then you start making good decisions, and that's kind of where they're at. And they don't need to be winning every game through the season. It's about being in the top 4 come May time, and then being in the right place at the right time.
Very brief key match-up this afternoon for you. What are you most looking forward to?
I think actually for that defence to work, the guys on the ground have got to slow the ball down to allow them to line up and get on the front foot. And for that reason, I give very much in Andy Robinson's mould. Rennie at 7, I think, is key for Bristol.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to get ourselves some chips and gravy, I think, as is the norm around here. But we are good to go here at Clifton Lane this afternoon. Rotherham against Bristol. Match commentary comes from Dowie Morris and Johnny Hammond.
Oh, it's funny, isn't it, when the unfashionable will become fashionable. That is exactly what Lee Blackett's team has forced the rugby public to think, not only with their results and lofty league position, but in the manner in which they have achieved those things. So long a club that subscribed to caveman rugby, but now they have come into the light and are undoubtedly one of, if not the story of this season. But today we see just how far they have come against the high rollers and favourites, Bristol. or rather have been enjoying a relatively injury-free season until the last few weeks. A crisis at lock that has had Blackett on the ring around for begging for players. One, it's former Edinburgh man Hislop, Colin Quigley, absolutely vital at tight head, and the man who's Worcester bound south.